Join Kofi Bartels on the Morning Crossfire, weekdays 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. only on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Lagos, are you ready to be heard?
Yeah, good morning, Kofi Bartels. Hello, good morning, Kofi Bartels. Good morning, Mr. Kofi. Hello, Mr. Kofi Bartels. And morning good to all our callers and listeners.
It's your voice that drives the conversation on the Morning Crossfire.
Weekdays 5 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Your opinions, your stories, your take on the hot topics shaping our city and nation. We want to hear from you.
The president is aware that we have a security problem here. I don't know which area you stay in Lagos. There is no light again. No. These investors, I don't know hearing that there is no light in Nigeria. Whether somebody loots or somebody will not loot, a lot of things will happen. Why is Tinubu doing this to us?
Join Kofi Bartels for engaging debate, expert insights, and your voice at the heart of every discussion. Don't just listen, participate. Tune in and be part of the conversation. Only on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Okay, we're still here. Please, if you hear the music and all that, we're not going anywhere. You're welcome. It's the Morning Crossfire right here on 99.3 Nigerian 4. I got a sort of some information yesterday that something all was not well at the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission offices located somewhere in Lagos yesterday, and I decided to try and find out some more this morning on the program. What was really going on? I saw a video. Okay, I don't know. I'm hearing them singing something like there's some Ojoro somewhere in there. Some of those who were there yesterday will be with us, but one of them is in the studio. So try to understand what they were singing. Were they singing Nodu or Ojoro or what? But that was from the premises of the headquarters of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission. Don't forget, the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission is organized and had already announced that July 12th, Lagosians will troop out, or are expected to troop out en masse to vote for their local government officials, from the councillors to the local government chairman. So yeah, that's what we're expecting. And I suspect that protest, or the group of people, hundreds I think, singing Nodo Ojoro at LASIEC offices premises, are connected to that election. With me is candidates, a local government chairmanship candidate of the youth. Is it Youth Party? Youth Party. Ayo Adio. Ayo, good morning to you. Good to have you on the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You came in clutching coffee.
Oh yes. Been a long night.
You never sleep since yesterday.
Not be smarty.
Politics, Nigeria politics will be your mate. Is this your first foray into contesting?
Yeah, burning my fingers, yes. But
how's it been so far?
Well, it's been topsy-turvy, you know. It's been a lot of ups and downs and challenging, stressful, financially consuming.
That part, yeah.
Yeah, and all of that. But it's been exciting. It's really been exciting.
Is it driving you nuts?
Well, you wake up being driven nuts by certain things, but, you know, truthfully, it's been exciting when you see the hope in the faces of people who want a different kind of politics, when you see the hope in the faces of people who want change, people who have had to deal with bad governance for the last couple of decades. And that sort of inspires you, and you sort of leave through the daily challenges and the hassle that you have to go through. It's like having a higher sense of purpose. why you're doing what you're doing, and especially when you look in the faces of people who appreciate the effort, and that you speak to their pain points and the hope that you're inspiring them. That for me is a lot gratifying, if you ask me.
I mean, having listened to you for the past 2 minutes, I don't think you have a problem on the campaign stage. So I heard you are a candidate for which local government area?
Etiosa.
Etiosa.
Yes.
Okay, that's the office down here.
Exactly.
All right. Know that you know your way around. And then of course your party's youth party.
Yes, it is.
I know of Young Progressives Party, YPP.
Yes.
But I don't think I'd heard of Youth Party.
Yeah, we've been around for quite some time, since 2017, if you asked me. The problem, however, was we had a very long and enduring battle with INEC after the 2019 elections, because INEC at the time wanted to deregister us for some frivolous reasons, and we went to court, High Court, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court. Eventually gave the final ruling sometime in 2024. And then since then, the coast has been clear. So they sort of sucked out the momentum that we had coming in 2018 and 2019. And we spent the better part of the last 4 or 5 years in a wasted battle in court for nothing, really.
That's what we're really hearing
exactly
from the youth party.
Yeah, but we're doing our bit. We're putting out policy documents. We're holding town halls.
You're not collating. You should be collating. All right, but you see how God works in mysterious ways. You had a misfortune, but that misfortune has turned into people getting to know about you.
Well,
and I never even knew you were running for office. So that is God works in mysterious ways.
Oh yes. Yes.
All right, so let's look at what happened yesterday. Yeah. I saw some videos of were they singing No Doors Ojoro?
Exactly.
Who is doing the Ojoro? Because that was LASIEC office, right?
Yeah, it was LASIEC. People were frustrated with LASIEC, right? And they were frustrated because clearly, they had sort of checkmated candidates from other political parties and frustrated the entire process, and people were tired. What was the point? You resume at LASIEC's office at 9 a.m. You don't leave till 10 p.m. at night. You don't leave till 9 p.m. because somebody says he wants to validate or verify certain documents that had been sent ahead. Because when we were paying for our nomination forms, we shouldn't have paid for it anyway, but when we're paying and submitting our nomination forms,
nomination to the party,
to INEC, to LASIEC,
nomination
right?
to that LASIEC,
exactly. It's absurd, but we paid 150,000 naira. You had to swear an oath to that the documents that you were sending were authentic documents, and we sent it to them over a month ago. Now you are now calling us impromptu, just like a day to when screening was supposed to happen, to come validate these documents. And it was an entirely chaotic process because we came there. You did not specify clearly the documents that candidates should come with, and some of the documents that were requested on the spot, were, to be honest, to put it mildly, quite ridiculous.
Okay, so you were invited for validation.
Yes.
That's different from the screening.
Well, political parties are the ones that are supposed to do screening, not the Electoral Commission, right? Because you never hear INEC doing any kind of screening or validation, because it's not the job of the Electoral Commission to screen candidates. The political parties
was
that
this
screen candidates.
Validation exercise and then screening or everything together?
So it was. Let's use the word validation, because from their perspective, they want you to show the documents that you had submitted several weeks ago. So you could call that a validation exercise. Okay. Yes.
So when did you get the information that INEC was inviting all political, including APC candidates,
including APC,
to come for validation of their
yes? So sad. I left the letter in the car. I've shown you. We were invited on the 24th, 25th. Sorry, we got the letter on the 25th for the validation on the 26th. And the letter, just very scanty letter, right? That just said invited for a validation on the 26th by 10 a.m. At our headquarters. And we all got there.
That was some days ago.
Hey, that was last week. Yeah, last week, Thursday specifically.
Okay.
We got there. It was packed with candidates. And then we're now told to produce PVCs of the 20 persons that nominated us in our local government. And we're stunned.
Okay.
So
are you meant to have, it's part of the process of picking the INEC nomination form, the LASIEC, sorry.
The LASIEC, yes.
You must be nominated by 20%.
Yes, so part of the process, yes, you have to be nominated by 20 persons from your local government, right? If you're running for chairman. Okay. Now, so they're supposed to sign a form and submit to the commission. So give to you and you submit to the commission. Okay. So we got there and we had to show the PVCs of the 20 persons that had nominated us. And we were stunned that on two levels. One, because it's against the Electoral Act to be found with PVCs of other persons in your possession, right? And secondly, assuming without conceding,
so it's against the Electoral Act to be found with
PVCs of other persons in your possession. So if I was coming with 20 PVCs and the police arrested me, I would have been in jail for 2-3 days before we can get the chairperson of the commission to come and bail me, right? So it's the Electoral Act. But assuming without conceding that it's even legal to have these PVCs, right? You should have at least indicated it in your letter to political parties that we want you to come with, say, for instance, photocopies of the PVCs of the people who nominated you and political
originals.
Parties, or originals.
You can show the police a letter.
Exactly, and we'll be well prepared and come with these documents to the commission. Unfortunately, they didn't. We got there and it was an entire circus. Everybody had to go and start printing one document or the other so that
how many of you were there?
Rough estimate
up to maybe 50, 20?
No, of course more than 50. A little above 200, maybe around 200.
That's not everyone.
That's not everyone. So it was a very chaotic process, and we got in there. I, for instance, had been there since like 9 a.m. I didn't get invited until about 6:30.
Oh, you have to wait till they call you in.
Oh yes,
these are chairmanship candidates.
Yes. Okay. You haven't got to the interesting part because we had to wait till like 6 p.m. to be 6:30 to be called in.
9 a.m.
Yes, from 9 a.m. to 6:30, and I got tired, and they started to ask for these documents. Right? I'd already had prior notice from other people that had gone ahead that these are the things they're asking for. Obviously, there's no way I could produce those 20, like most people couldn't produce those documents on the spot. So we thought we're just going to go in and make our case. We got in there, and we have never been, personally, I've not been that humiliated in my life before. We were shouted at, we were insulted. In fact, they threatened to throw us out with the police, simply because we asked a simple question that, if you had indicated this in the letter, we would have produced these documents on the spot. You're asking for the original, my original certificates from my universities, my postgraduate documents. I don't shop around with it, right? So I'd asked in the letter, because what I printed out,
asking for your original of your certificate.
Yes, from the universities. I'm like, I don't move around with these things, right? I knew this on the spot, and that's why I took the pain to go to a cyber cafe next door to be able to even print out copies from that which I have saved, online, to be able to show you. Okay. So for you to say I should produce these original documents, on the spot, it's a bit far-reaching. They were so insultive. They were so abusive.
But if you're going for a validation of your credentials,
yes,
as long as it looks like a job application. If you're going for a validation of your credentials, wouldn't you expect that you go with your originals because you maybe ask for that?
Now you have to look at the process again, because when you're submitting documents to a commission and you have to go to the commissioners of oaths to swear and you do all those things, you already have inadvertently done a validation process, because you already have sworn an oath to prove that those documents are legal. Perhaps let me also quickly add that no electoral commission, and that's why INEC doesn't even bother doing any screening exercise, for instance, because the commission does not have the power to disqualify any candidate. And that's why every time a political candidate is disqualified for lack of a certificate, for instance, it's not the commission that does it, it's the court. So you take the candidate to court to prove that the document he has presented is fake or not, and then the court decides that candidate be disqualified, right?
So INEC does not disqualify.
No, they don't. You can't. That's why they don't waste their time doing all of those, stuff. It's the court that does that.
But I think maybe Lagos State electoral laws may be different.
No, of course, I've studied the electoral laws, and
I don't think I have a copy. Okay,
I've studied the law. But you see, the point is,
no, does it say this in the electoral law?
No, it's not in the election guidelines.
But election, some of the electoral laws will also give the umpire the power to do whatever they want to do that they feel is right for them.
Within the ambits of the Constitution. So no state electoral law supersedes the Electoral Act.
Or the Constitution.
Right? Or the Constitution. You have to be guided by the Electoral Act.
So what happened after that when you were shouted on and all that? Then
they told us to come back the next day.
Your school set original.
Oh, yes. So no problem. You're in your office. We can't, So we said we should come back the next day. We go back the next day. It was worse than the day before. They couldn't attend to most.
27th, Friday.
Yes. They couldn't attend to most people. They said we should come back on Monday. And it was a Monday you heard those chants, people who had already been frustrated. They had been spending time and resources for the last 3 days and not moving forward.
See how the group all of you like coppers.
No, that's the most embarrassing
part. Are you under a canopy?
Yeah, the canopy couldn't even contain everybody. So people were...
This was night. So what time did you arrive yesterday?
Probably got back at about 10 p.m.
No, what time did you get there?
To the commission?
Yeah.
In the morning. About 9 a.m. in the morning.
And this video was recorded around...
Yeah, this was about 8 o'clock.
Okay. Right.
To 8 around that time.
You guys are sitting down like
jump
by 20
exactly.
Collect
I had that feeling.
Results.
It took me back close to how many decades ago now, when I was going to meet my admission officer to validate my documents.
It's like guys to get NIN. Even NIN, they don't do this. They don't keep it. This was an NIN.
It's worse.
So as ask, are these local government chairmanship candidates?
Oh yes, and that's why it's even the more embarrassing, because you don't need this time. And
you have to put your phone just a bit far from.
And for politicians, right? Every day counts. So it means we've lost 3 days campaigning,
right?
Because we've wasted our time at the commission. and to put it to make matters worse, by tomorrow we're expected to submit the list of our polling unit agents. Mm-hmm. Now, our entire secretariat are bogged down by this unnecessary hassle over the last few days.
Okay.
I still now have to find the place of mind to be able to work on these polling unit agents.
All your candidates, because now we have 50. No,
we have 20 local government
plus the LCDAs now.
Plus the illegal 37 LCDAs. So
okay, that's 50.
So 57. Yeah,
57. So each party, let's say we have how many parties are even contesting this election?
18 political
18 parties. So 18 times 57.
So not all parties have candidates.
Let's assume.
Okay.
Because that's what it should be. Hold on, I want to calculate. How many people will queuing up, lining outside the LASIEC office? 18 times. Anyway, 02012770993. Please call. I told you yesterday we're going to give an LASIEC.
So please do, because they don't seem to be talking much.
Right of reply. We approached LASIEC. That's 1,026. So ordinarily they would expect 1,026 to converge on the same day outside the offices to come in one by one. Did they at any point have a timetable? Say, okay, party A come on this day. I
would think they do. Because from what I got, right? If they were specific to say youth party should come on the did I say 26?
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
One day now, one. Still feel go on holiday, make you know they complain. Retire in grand style, make it worth your while. Choose a partner that will strive.
deserve. Access ARM Pensions. Future shaping.
This taste na banger, this taste na creamy rich, this taste na newness cafe, original 3-in-1. Thickness, enjoyment, yumminess, happiness, delightfulness, deliciousness, smoothness. This taste na newness cafe, original 3-in-1.
Enjoy more creamy richness with the new Nescafe Original 3-in-1 in the new pack. That's strong, finish strong.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development and the care they need with the new Kid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. Nan Kid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
My guy, should you to spend plenty money on top fuel and every day na social mechanic wahala on top of the motorcycle? Oh yeah, now switch to Spiro today. Spiro electric motorcycle in order use fuel and na small maintenance to take kakaraka. When your battery run down, just swap am in 2 minutes for any of our swap stations and ride on. We are ready for logistics, or kind of business, and our daily waka. Spiro, smart, strong, stress-free, no fuel, no wahala, just a cargo. Make a call 070-000-97797. Don't get started.
Oh, I need to find a way to save on water expenses. Oh, my budget can't keep up again.
I used to be in your shoes until I switched to Seaway Refill Water.
Seaway Refill Water?
Yes, so Seaway Refill Water. You are getting double the water while spending less.
I'm switching today.
Switch to Seaway Refill. Seaway Refill. Seaway Refill. Get more value, save more money. Oh yeah, Seaway Refill. Seaway Refill. Seaway Refill. Stay hydrated, drink more water. Oh yeah, Seaway Refill.
Feel the difference. Always choose Seaway for every family. When you chop better breakfast with the new Peak Dairy Creamer, your belly go full. Full belly means say morning waka go well. When morning waka go well, it means say your day go good.
Oga, this new Peak Dairy Creamer, now the same with Peak Full Cream?
No, Peak Dairy Creamer na skimmed milk for tea and coffee only, while the Peak Full Cream milk na oga milk from cow's whole milk.
Taste breakfast goodness with new Peak Dairy Creamer at 130 naira only.
Reach for your peak.
Remember the name Arenas Plus. When malaria strikes, Arenas Plus. Remember the name Arenas Plus. When you're feeling down, Arenas Plus.
Arenax Plus is the name to remember when you need to beat malaria with ease. Arenax Plus is a combination of artemether and lumenfantrine and is effective in the treatment of malaria in adults and children. So the next time malaria strikes, remember the name. Arenax Plus beats malaria with ease.
If symptoms persist after 3 days, please see a doctor. Available in pharmacies near you. Arenax Plus is a quality product from Swifa.
The world is changing and opportunities are everywhere. The question is, are you ready to seize them? For far too long, we have been conditioned to think within the constraints of geographical borders created by man. An example is Nigeria. But let me tell you something profound. You are part of the world, not just one nation. You don't just live in Nigeria, you live in the world. It's time to break free, look beyond borders, and seek opportunities that span the globe. You need a world view. The world is open for business, and the opportunities are endless. It's time to think global. It's time to trade global. Visit hfm.com or download the HFM app on Google Play Store or App Store to get started today.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info. Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, Lagos, welcome back. We're counting down to the July 12, 2025 Lagos State local government elections. And we know that for some reason, the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission, via a law that was signed by the governor of Lagos, the political parties in the state said they were not aware initially, but I think they're now on board. We have not just the already existing local government areas in Lagos State, but also the local council development areas, as they're called, though they're yet to be recognized by the Nigerian Constitution. We'll have elections into them. So yeah, this is where we are. Our guest this morning is an opposition chairmanship candidate right here in Lagos State. I say opposition because they had a protest yesterday night, and it was at the premises of LASIEC headquarters right here in Lagos State. Ayodele Adio is chairmanship for the Etiosa local government seat, local government chairmanship seat on the platform of Youth Party. What's the logo of your party?
Well, it's a Y branch.
Y branch.
Yeah.
Just Y.
Yeah, just Y.
Letter
Y green branch. Very easy to identify. Yeah.
Branch of a tree.
Yeah.
Oh, almost like the Y on the coat of arms.
Exactly.
I see. I'm just asking because I don't. Sorry.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay. Anyway, at least APC is broom.
Yeah.
PDP is umbrella.
Yeah.
Labour Party is Papa Pekin. I'm trying to balance it out before someone says I'm campaigning for you. We mentioned the other ones. Okay. Anyway, so what we told from our guests is that they've been given a run around, by the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission, who, by the way, we've approached to come on the program for maybe about 2 months or 3 months now, since the announcement was made for the date of the election. We went ahead to invite LASIEC, the chairman. We're told to write. That's first sign. so we wrote. We've written a letter for, I think, maybe 2 months now, and what we keep hearing is they're busy. We'll come. We will soon come. But yesterday, we reached out to the spokesperson for LASIEC. He promised that their chairman will come. We have the election, how many now?
About
11 days away.
11 days. 11 days.
So we are counting down to when he comes. To just enlighten people, on that election, answer questions and all that. It's very important.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, so you said that they've given you a run around.
Oh, yes.
And of course, you've been asked to come for some validation of your credentials.
Yes.
The chairmanship candidates will act to pick up applications. Is application or validation forms?
Well, nomination forms.
Nomination from INEC.
Yes.
At 100,000. And I've never heard of
chairmanship 150,000. Your vice chairmanship candidate 75. Councillorship 50.
I never heard of this, to be honest.
Yeah, strange.
Before in electoral elections in Nigeria,
because they are funded by the public,
and yes, by government.
By government. Yes.
So imagine INEC asking President Tinubu to pick nomination. Parties are the ones who normally will or would sell their nomination forms, and those who want to give it out for free or give a discount for youth and all that do that.
Exactly.
But I haven't heard this before. So this is new.
Exactly.
But the reason I'm not ringing alarm bells is because every state has its own local government electoral law.
Yeah.
So I will need to see if there's anything. Because, nobody's nominating you to an electoral and not a political party.
Exactly.
Right?
So you're just supposed to submit your forms.
In fact,
to the commission.
I don't even know.
So why are you charging for that?
I don't even know why the party is interfacing with candidates. it is an abnormality, to my knowledge, for elections I've seen. That electoral umpire that is supposed to be so busy with activities and doesn't have time will actually want to start screening political.
Exactly, it's a waste of time.
It is an so unusual. I've never seen it anywhere before. That's why we reached out to LASIEC. We would like to give them a chance to a right of reply for this.
Yeah.
Mr. Spokesman, Zainab spoke to you yesterday. We want the chairman to come and then so we understand, because we always like to give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
That being said, I've never seen it anywhere. What I'm used to is the the electoral umpire deals with the parties.
Yes.
Whatever the party wants to do, for instance, INEC, you submit the list of your candidates
exactly
online.
Exactly.
If they have a court order against any of the candidates, they can write you back and say, we have an issue with this person.
Yes.
Give us another name.
Yes.
But for an electoral umpire to tell all the candidates to come on one day. So this is chairmanship?
Yeah, chairmanship.
Vice chairmanship?
Yeah, councillorship.
And councillors all gathered there.
Yes.
And to sit down and you come in one by one.
Oh, yes.
Adio. Yeah, present, sir. You go in with your paper. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, you've described it.
What school did you go to?
Exactly.
Okay. You first class upper or second class lower? Okay. You say you went to, you know how people can be.
Yeah.
You went to which secondary school? Are you sure you went to? That's the job of an electron. But you went to government school. You graduated. That's not the job of an electoral umpire.
Oh yes.
Moreover.
Oh yes.
What is the minimum qualification for chairmanship? I think school set.
School certificate. I mean, president is school set. Yeah. So that's the minimum.
I don't even know if it's school. Let me check constitution.
By the way, the constitution is very magnanimous. It says or the equivalent of, right? So school cert, the equivalent of. So the bar is actually very low.
I could have got to Makaranta.
So it's the equivalent of.
Yeah.
So the bar is quite low. If you looked at it from that prism. So
I mean, it's hard to imagine that all these are not intentional.
Exactly.
Stumbling blocks being laid on the path of these opposition parties.
Yeah.
In order to make it difficult for them to win or to even have a chance.
Yeah.
But like I said, I would like to give LASIEC, I almost said LASIEC, benefit of that. I also want to believe that you had APC candidates there with you.
Nope. So again, I don't like to make claims that I can substantiate.
Good,
so I'm not going to make those claims on air. But we had what we had, and
what did you hear?
No, I don't want to make those claims on because I'll be compelled to substantiate them. Okay. I can have that conversation.
But did you have APC fellow?
They came in on Saturday. So I want to give you an idea.
On Thursday when you all gathered, they were there.
They were not there with us.
Are you sure?
I'm sure of that. So they came in on Saturday.
Friday when you went back, were they there with you?
No,
they were not there.
They were there on Saturday. I'm sure that they were there on Saturday.
They came on their own or together with all of you went there on Saturday?
I didn't go on Saturday. We didn't go on Saturday because we're told to come back on Monday. So I believe that APC. So think of it this way: all the political parties that we came with on Thursday, right? I've seen them all through up until
yesterday,
right? So certain people who didn't have, couldn't get enough of the PVCs. We see them here and there. We still meet, we laugh, break bread. The APC came on Saturday, right? As we're told, they came 9 a.m. and by 2 o'clock they were done, right? By the way, the APC have more candidates, I would argue, than any political party because they have
expected
exactly they have every seat is represented across. So you would expect they have to be a lot more tedious, right, and more rigorous and consume a lot more time. But on Monday there wasn't an APC candidate there. All of them had a clean bill of health, and things like that. So, like I said, we had certain things behind the scene that, of course, I can't substantiate air, so I wouldn't be making those points. But just to give you an idea.
What did you hear?
I'm not going to say that. But to give you an idea, if the most populous political party doesn't even have a single person coming back that, either forgot this or forgot that, it tells you the entire story.
Okay.
At the end of the day.
And then also I've been wondering, so they said those who nominated you from your parties should present their PVCs.
Yes.
What law is that based on?
Absolutely no law.
It shouldn't be your party's internal.
Exactly. That should be.
If your party says we're not going to follow nomination, it's a consensus.
Thank you very much. So it should be an internal party affair.
So your party. So do you have 20 people nominated you?
Oh, yes.
Or is that maybe according to Lagos data?
Yeah. So that's part of the guideline that they provided,
okay,
right?
Fine.
So we had to do. We had to get nominated by 20 persons, right? So it's part of the nomination. Again, we sent that to them because those 20 people on the nomination day would have to come and sign that you were nominated and all of that.
So what are the PVCs for?
They want to verify that.
That's why I'm
Kofi, follow me. Follow me. I just want to show you how. I want to show you how absurd this is, right? Because when these people were filling nomination forms, right, they wrote down their numbers. You know, if you have a PVC, you would see that your PVC has like a VIN number. You know that if you put it online, it brings out your entire details, right? So they filled that in the forms with their polling units and everything. It was filled. So if you want to verify that this is Mr. Kofi's PVC, it takes you 30 seconds. Go to the website, compute the data, and it will pop up. So why did we need to bring it again to come and show you of the people who nominated us?
The guidelines that these people nominate you must be registered voters.
Yes, of course, they have to be registered voters.
Okay, so maybe they're just trying to fulfill what the guidelines say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they have sent you their PVCs, the numbers on their PVCs show that they are registered voters.
Maybe they don't know that they can check the website. They may not know. So I'm going to give LASIEC a breathing space here. If the guidelines, these guidelines sound illegal.
Yes, a lot of them.
They sound unconstitutional. But I'll give LASIEC a breathing. If they've written that these, because if it was me, how I am, I won't even bring any 20 nominees to start with. And I won't bring any because I'll look at it as being absorbed. I can't do what I know is wrong, is unconstitutional. Even if you're government and you're telling me, I will tell you no, you don't have the power to tell me to do this, and we'll end up in court. So the court will tell us who is right and who is wrong.
The way you know the guidelines,
but I understand where you guys are coming from.
Yes,
because you have to just do what you have to do.
Yes,
but
let me also add the guidelines came in the middle of the game. So they had already announced elections, right? Then 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, if not, about 3 weeks later, was when they now released guidelines. So elections had been announced. Then weeks after, guidelines came out. So you were already in a pre-election era before the guidelines came out. So
you're already campaigning.
So for context, I want people, so I can give context so people can understand the absurdity and the illegality of what this commission has been doing. When you announce election, you're announcing an election with a series of procedures that political parties should follow. And by virtue of the constitution, you cannot announce an election less than 150 days to the date of the election. So that the intention is so that CVR typically must end 90 days to an election. So that gives political parties a 60-day window, an INEC, to open its CVR for people to register, to vote, for people to change PVCs who have misplaced ones and all of that.
Move their polling units.
To move polling units and all of that, right? It gives you that window. It also signals with this clear timetable. If you look at how INEC releases, it announces elections and its guidelines. It shows you when primaries would hold, give you a full picture of the entire process.
You have a timetable.
Exactly. Now that's how elections are supposed to be announced.
Don't you have a timetable?
Now, unfortunately, how do you announce an election without a guideline? That's exactly what's done in Lagos. So you announce an election, that elections will hold July 12th, zero guideline. So until 2-3 weeks later, a guideline then comes in the middle of the game.
I'm moved to give LASIEC benefit of doubt. I mean that's why it's important when we invite them. Instead of giving us let's say they've been busy, but telling us to write and then come on. But anyway, that's probably a process. I believe that if they can come on the program, some of these things, maybe if I'm saying them out of ignorance, I would know better. But they have not come. Now let's talk about delineation.
Yes.
Are you aware of your polling units where they are? Are you aware of because you mentioned something about having to raise 200 agents for each, and they're asking for the details of your agent.
Oh yes, we have to send that tomorrow. That's the deadline.
When were you told to send the names of your agents?
No, it's part of the what you call it, the guidelines. You have
Okay.
to submit names of polling unit agents.
No, but when did you? Okay, so but are you aware of how many polling units are in your constituency?
I was until the polling guideline came out and I saw that I was wrong.
Oh.
Again, this is another problem. first of all, like you mentioned, polling unit delineation. LASIEC do not have the powers to delineate polling units. And let me even add that when court later today, it's going to be before the judge who's going to rule on it. They don't have the powers to delineate polling units. But they go ahead to do that. And they've done that conventionally over the last local government elections. And we've decided to challenge them on this. Not only have they gone ahead to delineate polling units and wards, what they have now also done is that they don't even tell you what has been delineated until you are in the middle of the game.
So have they created additional polling units?
Exactly.
Have they moved polling units from where they were?
Exactly. So additional polling units have been created. Certain polling units have been merged. Certain polling units have been moved.
So how many polling units you have now in the Etiosa local government area?
I have about 225 polling units.
How many were there that you knew before they?
It was about 155 or so.
So you were not aware that you were going to need
extra
200 and something agents.
Exactly.
So now you have to start looking for
exactly.
You have to start looking for money to
pay for extra. And you have to start looking specific to those polling units. More complicated problem because these are not properly defined.
How do you mean?
So if you look at the names on some of those polling units, if you look at Ward A, for instance, you would see Ikate land is mentioned in 10 places as polling units. It says Ikate land. Ikate land. Ikate land.
Yeah. Where? What's the address?
That's somewhere in Lekki Ikate.
No. What's the address that they?
Don't know. I mean, as a politician, I have the.
So, give you the address. Ikate land. So where is it? Ikate primary.
Kofi, you have you have it in front of you. Does it look like there's an address there?
Hold on. This one, right?
Yes. So look at the polling unit. Does it look like an address there?
Okay, so you have a document I can verify. It says it's your local government area. You just sent it to me.
Yes.
This morning. It says Ward A. Name Lekki.
Yes.
Okay, correct?
That's Ward A, yes.
Okay, description. Lekki, Mobolaji Johnson Estate. Okay, just blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Polling system, blah, blah, blah. So, code 001. That's the polling unit.
Polling unit.
Okay, location / name Ikate village. Is Itedo
village.
Itedo village. Okay,
yes.
So where in Itedo village is this?
Question.
No, I'm asking you.
I don't know.
No. There's going to be an address on the
If you scroll down, you see ones that have addresses there that are clearly defined.
So this is the entire description.
Exactly.
Itedo village.
Yes.
That's polling unit.
Yes.
Itedo village again.
Yes.
Polling unit. Are these the same polling units?
No.
Itedo village and Itedo village.
Yes.
Next entrance of Itake.
Yes. So you see that's the description.
Where is
so that's the entrance of where you're entering the palace. Where you have that big sign. Exactly.
Welcome
exactly. So there's a unit there. So you can see that the description. Entrance of Ikate.
So are they two polling units at the same place? I'm seeing two here.
There's a particular one on Obailegushi. You have about 10 polling units on the same stretch. On house 2, house 8, house 2, house 4, house 6, house 8, house 10.
Okay.
And it goes on a stretch.
I'm seeing polling unit 005, Ikate land.
Yes. Where's Ikate land?
I'm asking you. No. So Ikate land is the entire Ikate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where in Ikate is this particular polling unit?
Big question.
We have to go
and then how many Ikate lands have you seen there?
We have to go on ultimate search. If you know where. I've seen 4 here.
Yes.
So we have to mobilize to go and search. You go search for.
So you can. There are up to 10 Ikate lands if you keep scrolling through the documents.
Wow.
Not any.
Maybe this is a mistake. I'm going to give maybe this is a mistake. Because if this is posted online or somewhere as a voter, how do I know? So let me ask you. You're a politician. You probably may have main insight, information.
Yes.
Are these polling units? So are you saying LASIEC has created additional polling units to the ones that INEC created?
Yes. So how do I explain this in a way that you can understand? So your PVC is tied to a specific polling unit. And I can give you this example with what happened in the last local government elections, because I managed the situation room of a political party. So what happened on that day was when people came out to vote, in where they thought that they were going to be voting in the polling unit that INEC had designated, and they got to the polling unit.
General election.
General election, but this was local government election. So they came out to vote. The guys who were supposed to vote in Lekki were told that their names were not on the register.
Wait, are you talking about general election?
No, I'm saying that in the last local government election, yes, when they came out to vote, they assumed that they would be voting in the polling units, their card is tied to as delineated by INEC. They came to vote, their name was not there. Told them, the guys in Lekki one, they told them that their polling unit is somewhere in Muri Okonla. They left all the way from Lekki to come to Muri Okonla to vote.
Searching for it.
They came there, they said their names were So it was ultimate search on election day, right? They were setting polling units that in the palace, and not access the palace to go in there.
Meanwhile, the electoral says you should not have polling units in any palace, or any religious.
But they continue to abuse this thing.
Compound.
There are 10 polling units. If you go again in the world, and I'd like you to take your time to study, that are in around the Elegushi Palace. So how do you expect a level playing field for people to go there and participate? So I'm telling you, if you look at the strategy board of most political parties, right, there are certain places that we have checked our minds. We know elections are not going to happen in those places, and so we have to make the numbers up somewhere else. So because you're not going to get access to vote in these places.
So how do I know? For instance, if they're moving like a draft,
yes,
you move your. You are playing draft with the polling units. How am I sure that if first of all where my polling unit was,
yes,
officially by INEC,
yes,
it's not, maybe it's removed somewhere and I start searching for it.
Yes,
I go to Ikate land.
Yes,
and I now see one polling unit in Ikate land. And I enter there, and they say your name is not here.
Oh dear!
Oh, man, this game, eh?
Oh dear!
This game. Nigeria politics.
You go explain. We go explain because no evidence.
Guy, I feel for you guys, man.
But that's why, Kofi. That's why one of the reasons I'm running is to reform the system, and the only way to reform is to use your candidacy and the entire process as grounds for litigation to challenge some of these legalities in court.
I'm sorry, but I want to take one call.
Please.
I've had to give you time to really exhaustively explain this matter to listeners so we can understand. We're out of time, so I will just take one. I'll plead with the listener. Please, listener, you have to be very fast. It's very fast. Go straight to the point.
Kofi, good morning. This is Pastor Ladipo calling from.
You called yesterday, but continue.
Kofi, you can now see that the system has already been schemed against people that are supposed to occupy that position. So no matter God that this guy went in, I wish he can make all his findings more public and more open so that people can see it.
Thank you very much. Adelaide, we have to leave it at that.
Thank you, Kofi. I really appreciate it for giving us the platform to ventilate this.
As well, my brother. Don't give up. Don't lose.
No.
So you're in court, right? Because that's
from here I'm headed to court.
Federal State High Court.
No, federal High Court.
Okay,
in Ikoyi,
we'll bring you back, and then all your colleagues. All right,
no problem.
Let's go pay some bills. It's still the morning transfer.
Big moves, little brain, big learning. Your little child is eager to do big things. Every sachet of
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3